She was a billionaire's daughter, Ariana. She lived a life full of luxury, private cars, expensive custom-made dresses, and endless wealth. From the outside, her life looked like a perfect fairy tale. A golden cage, but a cage nonetheless. She attended the highest class parties, surrounded by people who wore smiles as fake as the jewelry they flaunted. But despite having everything, she felt completely empty inside. Because no one ever truly loved her for who she was, only for her money, her father's name, and her status. To the world, she was just an heir to an empire. No one asked her what made her smile. No one knew what made her cry. She was surrounded by 1,000 people, yet she had never felt more alone. One rainy evening, the sky turned a dark, bruised purple. The rain poured down mercilessly on the city. Ariana was sitting in the back of her chauffeur-driven Rolls-Royce, staring blankly at the blurry lights outside. Suddenly, the engine sputtered and died right in the middle of an old, crowded street market. While her driver panicked and ran down the street to find help, Ariana felt suffocated inside the leather seats. Against all rules, she opened the door and stepped outside into the pouring rain. And that's when everything changed. Through the mist and the heavy drops, she saw him. A boy standing under a broken awning, shivering. He was selling handmade thread bracelets just to survive the night. His clothes were worn out and thin. His shoes were soaked in the dirty puddles. But his face carried something entirely different. It held no anger against the world, just peace, a quiet honesty, and a pure, soft smile that seemed to defy the harsh reality around him. Their eyes met, and for a moment the chaos of the busy market, the sound of the rain, the honking cars, everything around them disappeared. There was only him and her. Ethan noticed her expensive silk clothes clinging to her. He understood immediately that she didn't belong in his rough world. But still, without saying a single word, he walked over. He gently held out his only battered umbrella and offered it to her. It was the only protection he had from the freezing rain. Ariana froze. She was completely shocked. Because in her cold corporate world, no one gives anything without expecting something in return. Every gift had a price tag. Every favor was a transaction. But he did it without greed, without reason, just pure, unfiltered kindness. That one fleeting moment, that one small act of kindness stayed in her heart like a glowing ember. She couldn't stop thinking about his eyes, the boy with the umbrella. And after that night, she kept finding reasons to come back to that dusty street market. She would ask her driver to take a different route. She would wear simpler clothes, tying her hair back, leaving her diamonds at the mansion just to blend in. Days turned into accidental meetings. She would buy a bracelet she didn't need just to hear his voice. Meetings turned into nervous smiles. Smiled turned into conversations. And slowly those conversations turned into a deep, unshakable emotional connection. His name was Ethan. He didn't know who her father was, and he didn't care. Ethan showed her what real happiness feels like, without a single penny involved. He took her on simple walks by the river, They shared cheap street food that tasted better than any five-star meal she had ever eaten. But life, they had honest, soul-bearing talks under the street lights. The real world doesn't care about fairy tales. They just sat in peaceful, one evening, her father's security team followed her. For the first time in her life. Her father, Mr. Sterling, Ariana felt like she was as cold as the marble in his mansion. Found out about Ethan what it means to dream beyond his limits. The confrontation was brutal. His art was beautiful. In her father's eyes, that his street boy selling bracelets had absolutely no place in their more than that street corner. He was a stain on their family's escape. He didn't just forbid her from seeing him. He crushed her entire existence. He forced Ariana to stop seeing him. Her phone was confiscated, her credit cards were blocked. She was locked inside her luxurious bedroom, a prisoner in her own home. The guards at the gate were doubled, and within hours plans were forcefully made to send her thousands of miles away abroad, to prepare for a forced, arranged marriage with a wealthy business partner. Ariana cried until her voice gave out. She begged, but the mansion walls absorbed her screams. But before being dragged to the airport the next morning, Ariana managed to bribe a young maid with her favorite necklace. She wrote a desperate, tear-stained letter for Ethan. "My dearest Ethan, they are taking me away. Even if I am forced away from you across oceans, even if years pass, I will never forget you. Please believe me, because you, the boy in the rain, showed me a world my money could never buy. Wait for me. I love you." Ethan got the letter, and Ethan waited every single day. He stood at their meeting place by the river, in the pouring rain, in the burning heat, in the dead, freezing silence of winter. He looked at every passing car, hoping to see her face. But Ariana never came. Days turned into agonizing months. The months bled into years. And slowly the brutal reality set in. Ethan realized she was gone. The world had swallowed her. But he didn't give up on life. He used the pain. He remembered her words, that his art was magic. Ethan worked harder than any man ever should. He bled. He starved. He saved every single coin. Slowly, agonizingly, he turned his small bracelet selling spot on the street into a proper, beautiful handmade craft shop. He built every shelf with his own hands, building everything with the pain and the beautiful memories of the only girl he ever loved. Ariana, on the other hand, was thousands of miles away. She returned years later. She was older. She was a massive success in her family's business. Rich, independent, powerful. But completely, utterly broken inside. A walking ghost in a designer suit. One evening, returning to her home city, an overwhelming urge pulled Ariana back to her past. She walked back to the exact same old street where everything had started all those years ago. The air felt the same. And then, she saw something that made her heart stop dead in her chest. A glowing wooden sign above a beautifully lit shop. Ethan's Handmade Crafts. Her breath hitched. Her hands started shaking violently. She pushed open the glass door. A small bell chimed, and when she entered inside, there he was, Ethan. But he was not the same shivering boy with the umbrella anymore. He was a man, stronger, quieter, and there was a heavy, cold distance in his eyes. He looked up from his work. He froze. The world stopped turning once again. Their eyes met again after years of agonizing silence. For a long, painful minute, no words came out. Only heavy, suffocating emotions filled the air between them. The weight of 1,000 unsaid things. Finally, unable to hold back her tears, Ariana took a step forward. Her voice cracked as she whispered, I never stopped loving you." Ethan didn't move. He looked at her for a long, quiet moment. His face was a mask of old scars, and with a voice that was barely above a whisper, he said, "Then why did you leave?" That one sentence broke everything inside her. It shattered whatever was left of her soul. Tears flooded her eyes as she frantically tried to explain everything. The pressure, her father's control, the guards, the forced separation. The arranged marriage she had to fight her way out of. She laid her broken heart on the counter. But Ethan just stood there silent. Because sometimes love is not about forgetting. Sometimes love is about surviving what it becomes after the loss. Ethan had spent years picking up his own broken pieces alone. The boy who loved her unconditionally in the rain had died waiting for her. And in that crushing, silent moment, looking into each other's eyes, they both realized the devastating truth. Their love was real. It was the truest thing either of them had ever felt. But time had changed everything. The bridge between them had burned down while they were trying to cross it. BGM swells deeply, full of sorrow, then begins to fade out. And some stories, no matter how beautiful, no matter how pure, are not meant to restart. They are only meant to be remembered.